Welcome to a deep dive. This time, we're tackling the NIST Cybersecurity Framework, CSF, if you want to be brief about it. And we're doing it for all of you out there who, well, hear cybersecurity every day and wonder what the fuss is about,
Yeah, it's kind of a hot topic these days, huh?
to say the least. But, like, where do you even start? That's what we're here for. Think of this deep dive, like your crash course, cheat sheet, whatever works, to the NIST CSF. No tech background required, promise. And to keep things legit, we're pulling straight from the source.
Huh.
Good old Wikipedia. Well, excerpts anyway, to the juicy bits that'll actually make you sound smart at your next water cooler cybersecurity debate.
And what makes the NIST CSF so cool is it's not like a rule book. It's not about checking boxes.
Right, right. You don't have to follow it. So then why is everyone using it? I mean, governments, massive companies. I bet even like the pizza place down the street has this thing bookmarked.
Because it's practical. The CSS gives you this like shared language to wrap your head around cybersecurity.
Instead of it just being this big, scary.
Monster in the bark.
Exactly. So we're all speaking the same language, finally. But how do we actually USE this framework? Where do we begin? Well, lucky for us, Wikipedia breaks it down nice and tidy, like into three parts. You got your core, your tiers, and your profiles.
And if you're a visual learner like me, think of it like building a house.
Oh, I like where this is going.
The core, that's your foundation. Your tiers, now that's how many floors we're adding on.
Yeah.
And the profiles, that's what we get to customize. Pick out the fancy doorknobs and all.
Okay, I'm following so far. So the core is like the essentials.
You got it. 5 functions. Identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. Catchy.
Right? Almost too simple. I thought cybersecurity was supposed to be this big, complicated thing.
Oh, it can be. But the CSF breaks it down, makes it, approachable. What's funny is you're probably already doing these things without realizing it.
Wait, seriously? Like how? Give me an example.
Okay, imagine you're a photographer, right? And your photos, those are your precious data.
Okay, I can get behind that. My camera roll is extensive.
So you're already doing the identify part just by knowing those photos need protecting. You protect them with strong passwords, backing them up. You might even have some software to detect threats, and if your computer crashes, boom, recovery plan. That's recover in action.
Huh. I never thought of it like that. So it's like common sense, but for our digital lives.
Nailed it.
But hold on, what about those tiers you mentioned? Like, not everyone needs Fort Knox level security for their cat photos, right?
You're telling me. And that's where tiers come in. They help you figure out, like, how much security you actually need.
So, like, a small business owner, they're not going to need the same level of security as, I don't know, the Pentagon.
Exactly. And then we've got the profiles. Think of it like customizing your phone. You got your apps arranged just how you like them.
Don't get me started on my app organization. But so how does that work with the framework? What are we customizing?
It's all about tailoring the CSF to fit your specific needs, your organization's risks. Maybe you're in a high-stakes industry, or you handle tons of sensitive data. Profiles let you double down on those areas. It's about strategy, You don't just build a house without thinking about who's going to live there, right? Their needs, their style. Profiles help you make the CSF your own.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've got the blueprints, we've figured out how many floors we need. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty, and that's where the 5 functions really kick in, right?
Exactly. Remember we talked about how they're like common sense for your digital life?
Yeah, the photographer and their precious photos.
Right. Let's break down each function, starting with identify.
Okay, lead the way.
Okay.
Although, to be honest, that one seems kind of self-explanatory, right? You got to know what you're protecting.
True, true. But it's a little deeper than just listing out your devices. Think about it. Back to the photographer example. Identify means understanding where those photos are stored, who can get to them, any weak points in the system. Are we talking external hard drive? Cloud storage?
Oh, I see. So it's about the whole picture, not just like, I own a laptop.
Exactly. And from there, we move on to protect. This is where it starts to feel like, real cybersecurity. Time for those big, scary firewalls and stuff.
Kinda. Think strong passwords, that 2-factor authentication everyone's talking about, firewalls, all that good stuff. But here's a fun fact from the Wikipedia article. Did you know human error is a factor in like over 90% of cybersecurity breaches?
No way. You're kidding. That many people spilling coffee on their keyboards.
Not quite. Think more like clicking on those phishing links or falling for a scam, stuff like that. Oh, right, right. So it's not just about tech, it's about people too. Makes sense why training's a big part of this whole thing.
Yep. Got to empower everyone to be their own first line of defense. All right, moving on. Detect. This one sounds a little more high-tech, maybe.
Yeah, this is where things get serious.
It's like having a security system, but for your data. Sensors picking up on anything fishy and sending out an alert.
So intrusion detection systems, security logs, that kind of stuff.
Bingo. Always got to have your finger on the pulse. Monitoring your systems 24/7. Early detection. That's key. Minimizes the damage big time.
Totally. But let's say, worst case scenario, someone gets through all our defenses. What then?
Respond, my friend. Time for the old cybersecurity fire drill.
Everyone run around screaming.
Huh. I wish it were that easy. No, this is where having a plan is crucial. Who do we call? How do we contain the breach? Got to keep everyone in the loop, too.
Damage control. And making sure it doesn't happen again.
Exactly. Which brings us to our final function, recover.
Let's hope we never have to use this one, but better safe than sorry.
Always. Remember, our photographer, recover is all about that backup plan, getting everything back up and running ASAP.
So bouncing back, ideally better than before.
You got it. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes. And it's not just about the data either. It's about learning from what happened, what went wrong. How do we prevent round two?
This whole 5 functions thing is making a lot more sense now. You don't need to be a tech whiz to get it. But it does make you wonder, with tech changing so fast, how does the NIST CSF keep up? They don't just carve it in stone, right?
Good point. It's a fast-moving world, tech especially. But that's what's so cool about the CSF, and the Wikipedia article lays this out nicely. They actually update it. It's not static. As the cybersecurity landscape changes, so does the framework itself.
Okay, that makes sense. But what kind of updates are we talking about? They just release a new edition every year with a fresh coat of paint?
Not quite. But
Yeah.
they do have versions like version 2.0. That was a big one. They added a whole new function focused on, get this, governance.
Governance, yeah. Not exactly the most thrilling word, is it? Why add a whole function just for that?
Because cybersecurity, it's not just about the tech anymore, It's the people, the processes, making sure everyone's on the same page from the top down.
So it's becoming everybody's job, not just the IT guy in the basement.
Bingo. From the CEO to, the intern who just started yesterday. Governance is about baking cybersecurity into the DNA of an organization.
Interesting. Sounds like the CSF is trying to stay one step ahead, but gotta ask, the Wikipedia article, it did mention some criticisms. Is this whole thing just too much? Too complicated, too expensive, especially for, smaller businesses?
A totally valid concern. I mean, yeah, a truly robust cybersecurity framework, it takes time, resources, and, yeah, some cash, no way around it. But that's where the beauty of the CSF comes in. It's, what's the word? Scalable.
Scalable, like those stretchy pants that fit everyone.
Exactly.
Ooh.
You don't need to do everything at once. Start with the basics, that core we talked about. Tailor it to your needs, your budget. Maybe you focus on training your people up first, then gradually add more tech safeguards down the line.
So it's a marathon, not a sprint. Got it. You don't need to become a cybersecurity guru overnight.
Exactly. Progress over perfection.
Yes.
And who knows, maybe you'll even find you enjoy this whole cybersecurity thing.
Okay, maybe not enjoy, but I will say I feel a lot less clueless now, which I'll take. It's not this big, mysterious monster under the bed anymore. And on that note, that wraps up our deep dive into the NIST Cybersecurity Framework. We've covered what it is, why it matters, and how those 5 core functions identify, protect, detect, respond, recover can help keep your data safe, whether it's your cat photos or top secret government intel. But before we go, one last thought. Remember those 5 functions. I challenge you to think about how they apply to your own digital life. What can you do today to better identify, protect, detect potential threats? Because this stuff, it's not just about businesses or organizations, it's about all of us, protecting ourselves, our loved ones, the digital lives we've built. So until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and remember, knowledge is power, especially in this crazy world of cybersecurity.